Just 2 months after retiring, an old gentleman began forgetting even his medication schedule. Not from illness, but because he no longer had any reason to get up on time. Many people imagine retirement as a time for leisure, but the truth is that very quiet void of nothing to do is what can unravel the mind fastest. The morning no longer has an alarm clock. There's no one expecting you anymore, not even for work. No more meetings, no more rushed lunches, only you, points, with a long expanse of time ahead. Have you ever felt that way? Many folks who once lived very healthily, after just a few months of inactivity, found themselves forgetful, sleeping less, weary, and reluctant to leave home, simply because they no longer had anything to look forward to each morning. They ask themselves, what should I do now? Or they think, well, I'm retired, so I'll just take it easy like this. But in truth, if we stay idle too long, the mind also starts to drift into darkness. And the body, if not roused each day by something you love, will also gradually grow tired, sluggish, and age faster than you realize. So there is one seemingly small yet very important thing. Have a hobby. Not just to kill time, but to rekindle life's meaning after journeying nearly the whole long road. In this video, I'll suggest 5 simple activities that post-retirement folks can start right away to keep their minds sharp, their spirits high, and to ensure each day still brings those small, precious joys. If you've ever found yourself just staring blankly at the clock, not knowing what to do, this video might just reignite a part of you that you believed had gone quiet. And if you know someone who is also slowing down after retirement, please do send this video their way. A suitable hobby. Sometimes it can truly save an entire phase of life. So let's dive in, shall we? There are people who never need brain supplements because every morning they connect with the soil, the plants, and that slow, deep rhythm of life. Some people retire to rest, but there are also those who retire and then find themselves depressed, confused, and never stepping out of their homes again. And then, a small potted plant saved everything. After retiring, many people feel the days are longer, emptier, and wonder where to start to fill that time. Then, some people step out into their backyards, pick up a shovel, sow a few seeds just to kill time. But then they realize, watching the seedlings grow each day, their hearts also grow calmer. It is not just about planting seeds, it is about nurturing your soul and mind. Gardening is an activity blending gentle exercise, connecting with nature, and mental focus. When you are absorbed in pulling weeds, trimming leaves, watering plants, your brain enters a state of deep relaxation, known as the flow state. In that moment, stress subsides, memory sharpens, and the happiness hormone serotonin starts to flow. Gardening is truly exercise for the brain. Each weed pulled is a gentle reset, reminding you that you are still fully living. Research from the University of Florida shows older adults who garden at least 3 times a week have better memory, higher concentration, and a 36% reduced risk of depression. Even just caring for a few small potted plants on a balcony can create a noticeable difference. Mrs. Margaret, 72 years old in North Carolina, once felt useless after retiring. Before receiving a potted plant from her grandchild, she had been sleepless for a week, lost her appetite, and barely bothered to leave the house. Yet a tiny sprout saved her whole rhythm of life. One day, her grandchild gave her a small flower pot. She began to learn how to plant, cared for it daily, and then propagated a few other plant varieties herself. Now, every morning she wakes with a sense of excitement, because out there the plants need water, the flowers need sun. Her spirits lifted, her sleep improved, and her memory also sharpened, just like before. If you think, oh, I do not know how to garden, please do not, you worry. Gardening does not require complex skills, just a little patience and loving care. You can start with a pot of mint, a few vegetable seeds, or a small basket of strawberries. Gradually, your own hands will create a green world, where you are both the nurturer and the one being nurtured. You can choose a small, sunny corner, buy a few pots of soil, a bag of seeds, and let nature do the rest. Each time you water or pick leaves, it is a moment to focus, breathe deeply, and gently exercise your brain. Old age does not mean sitting still. Old age can begin by sowing the seeds of life from your own hands. And when you see a flower bud bloom tomorrow morning, believe this, inside you, life remains ever fresh. And if gardening nurtures from the earth, then painting is how you quietly connect with your inner world, where emotions, memories, and imagination are awakened with each brushstroke. No one dies from not knowing how to draw, but some have withered because their minds gradually dimmed, with no reason left to create. And a paintbrush, sometimes it is the last thing helping them recall who they once were. Many people after retiring often say, "I've never known how to draw." But strangely enough, it is then, when no one is grading, with no deadlines or expectations, they pick up colored pencils, mix a little water, and begin to paint, not for display, not for anyone else to see, just for themselves, to feel a little lighter. Painting is a wonderful way to activate both brain hemispheres, where reason and emotion converge. When painting, you must concentrate, perceive colors, shapes, and space. That is when jumbled thoughts settle, making way for tranquility, relaxation, and creativity. There's no right or wrong, only expression, something older adults often miss the chance to do in daily life. Research from the Mayo Clinic shows that artistic activities like painting help reduce levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and enhance connections between nerve cells, slowing the brain's aging process. Older adults who paint regularly also show significant improvements in their lucidity, problem-solving skills, and enjoy a more positive mood. Mr. Thomas, 81 years old in California, was an accountant for over 40 years. When he retired, he felt empty, easily irritable, and forgetful. One day, his granddaughter invited him to color with her. Initially, he only tried it for fun, but then each day he found himself spending a few more minutes with his drawings. Now he has his own collection of paintings, not beautiful by any standard, but it is where his mind completely unwinds. He says, "Painting helps me remember the feeling of being alive, not to do anything, just to be myself." If you're feeling stressed, having trouble sleeping, or are forgetful, then perhaps your brain needs a gentle escape. And sometimes a paintbrush and palette are precisely that doorway. You don't need to buy anything expensive, just a small watercolor set, some white paper, and the willingness to start. Each morning or afternoon, sit quietly in soft sunlight, draw whatever you see on a leaf, an old photo, or just some free-form strokes of color. Don't worry about right or wrong, just be true to your feelings. Gradually, you will find your mind lighter, your heart calmer, and your memory will also become sharper again. No one is too old to pick up a brush, because each brushstroke is a reminder, I am still living, fully, colorfully, and I can still create beauty in my own way. And if painting is how you listen within, then music is how you connect outwards, with your hands, your ears, and even memories you feared had long since faded. Every chord you play is a nerve reconnected. So not only do your fingers stay nimble, but memories also remain. When we are young, we are often too busy to learn a musical instrument. But when we retire, time becomes a companion, and a guitar, a flute, or even a small drum, it suddenly becomes a bridge helping you meet yourself again, live more deeply with each moment. Learning to play music is not for performance, nor do you need to be a virtuoso. It is a process of gently training both your mind and hands. When you learn to play each note, memorize chords, coordinate hand, eye, ear, your brain is comprehensively activated. Each note is a moment you force yourself to remember, react, and then feel. Quite like a subtle exercise for both memory and dexterity. According to the Journal of Aging and Health, older adults who learn to play music 1 to 2 sessions per week for 6 months significantly improve short-term memory, information processing speed, and maintain the flexibility of their finger joints, helping prevent tremors, mild joint degeneration, and reduce the risk of dementia. Mr. David, 76 years old in Ohio, started learning the ukulele after retiring. Initially, he only practiced a few simple notes via YouTube videos, then later spent 15 minutes strumming each day. Now, every morning he starts his day with a short song. He says, "My hands have a purpose, my mind has a rhythm, and my heart feels joyful again." If you're thinking, what could I possibly learn at this age? Then remember, music is ageless. Sound doesn't demand speed, only that you listen. And listening to yourself each day is what keeps you young, in the gentlest of ways. Start with a harmonica, a small keyboard, or simply tap your hands to your favorite tunes. Learn through online videos, from books, or even ask a grandchild for lessons. What's important is you let your hands come alive again and allow your mind to be exercised with joyful things. Music doesn't cure aging, but it helps you feel as if you haven't aged a bit. And every note you play is a beat of life you're holding on to for yourself. If you're still watching and finding these shares helpful, please do comment with the number 3 below to let me know. And if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, I'd be thrilled if you'd click subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any new videos. Your support truly helps us to continue creating more useful and inspiring content. Music helps you listen to your inner world rhythmically, while journaling is your way to converse with yourself, unhurriedly, without judgment. An older person might lose their memory, not due to age, but because throughout their life, they never wrote down what weighed on their mind. After retiring, life suddenly slows down. The days are no longer busy, but the mind is filled with nameless thoughts about children and grandchildren, health concerns, old stories suddenly resurfacing in memory. When the mind is always full but no one is listening, you might gradually stop even wanting to think. And if you do not find a way to sort them out, those streams of thought can gradually become a tangled mess, leaving the mind tired, sleep restless, and memory also eroding, day by day. Journaling is not about complaining or whining. It is a form of therapy for the mind. When you sit down, pick up a pen, and let your heart flow onto the page in written lines. Writing helps you identify emotions, understand what brings you joy, what causes you concern. And when everything is brought to light, the brain no longer has to hold them. Memory is freed and emotions gradually find stability. According to Harvard Health Publishing, older adults who journal regularly at least 3 times a week significantly improve lucidity, reduce anxiety symptoms, sleep more deeply, and handle problems better in daily life. Just 10 to 15 minutes of writing each time, the effect is remarkably clear. Mrs. Linda, 75 years old in Vermont, suffered from chronic insomnia, as she always mulled over all sorts of things when night fell. Her doctor advised her to try writing down what was troubling her before bed. Initially, she felt hesitant, but then every evening, she spent a few minutes writing down one thing from the day she was grateful for, an old memory that resurfaced, or simply her thoughts about the weather that day. After a month, she slept better, her mind felt lighter, and gradually she no longer felt alone in her own thoughts. When you write things down, you are not just recounting, you are preserving a part of memory that, if unwritten, might be lost forever. If you've never kept a journal, start very gently. A small notebook, a comfortable pen, and a quiet morning, or a peaceful evening. Write whatever comes to mind. It doesn't need to be good. It doesn't need to be neat. Just be real. Not much is needed. Just you, ready to spend a few minutes on yourself. And then each written word becomes a small step, helping you reorganize your mind, understand your heart, and live each day more profoundly. You've lived your whole life for others. Now write to reconnect with yourself, with clarity, lightness, and completeness. And when you can see yourself more clearly, the next step is to get out there and meet other people. Prolonged loneliness after age 70 not only makes you sad, it can kill you day by day. After retiring, many people gradually withdraw, no longer going to work, seeing friends less, children and grandchildren also busy. Conversations naturally dwindle. Initially, it is just a few days without talking to anyone. Then it becomes a habit. But that silence, if prolonged, will silently drain vitality, making the mind sluggish and memory also gradually fade with the years. Older adults not only need to eat enough, sleep enough, but also need to talk, to be listened to belong to a group of some kind. And one of the simplest ways to achieve that is by joining hobby groups, book clubs, chess groups, dance classes, walking groups, or simply a group that enjoys gardening or baking on weekends. According to the National Institute on Aging, older adults who maintain active social interaction have a 50% lower rate of depression, slower brain aging, and a much better ability to recover from illness compared to those who live in isolation. When you share what you like with others, your mind is activated, emotions are nurtured, and your heart feels younger too. Mr. Raymond, 79 years old in Illinois, after his wife passed away, he barely communicated with anyone. His son advised him to join a painting class at the community center. Mr. Raymond said nothing after the first class, but that night he turned on the lights earlier than usual, chose a different shirt for the next day, and didn't forget to set his alarm clock. Initially he refused, but then tried one session, and since then he's gone every week. Not necessarily because he loved painting, but because there he laughed more, told more stories, and felt seen again. If you're feeling that the days are passing too quietly, try finding a group of people who share your interests. You can start at the local library, church, community center, or even an online group for seniors, where you can learn, share, and simply enjoy being present with each other. Just step out a little, open your heart a little bit. You will see that out there. There are indeed people who need you, value you, and look forward to seeing you. And that feeling of being expected is a wonderful rejuvenating tonic that no pill can replace. We live longer not just to merely exist, but to continue to be connected, to give and receive affection. And in every conversation, every gathering with others, you are sowing into your heart life, joy, and long-term health as well. You know, every time we have something to look forward to do in the morning, something to tend to each day, that's when we genuinely feel younger. Hobbies are not just for fun, they're medicine for memory, for the spirit, and for the heart that's aging bit by bit. A flower we've planted, a piece of music we're practicing, a journal page written with a slightly trembling hand. All are proof that we are still living, fully and completely. Many people after retirement slow down but forget to nurture that deeper part of life, and then quietly feel empty and tired, without quite knowing why. But you're different, because if you're here listening right to the very end, it means you still want to do something special for yourself. So then try one small thing just today. Plant a seed by the window, hum a melody, or arrange a book club meeting in the park. The moment you start, beautiful things will surely follow. If this video sparks something in you, please do leave a comment or share this video with a friend you've seen sitting alone too often. A new morning, a new habit can be the doorway to a part of life that isn't fading, but is truly blossoming. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. I wish you not just a long life, but that every day becomes a reason to live, with anticipation, with movement, and with you right at the center.